In a quiet park one morning, an 88-year-old man is seen striding briskly along the walking path. Only weeks earlier, this same man had struggled to rise from a chair without assistance. His transformation wasn't fueled by a new exercise program, nor by a cutting-edge drug. The secret was far simpler yet astonishing: a change in diet. In just 10 weeks, he restored vitality and regained strength most had assumed was permanently lost to age. But the most surprising detail? He did not rely on eggs, the food so many of us think of as the quintessential protein source. Instead, his recovery was driven by protein science now recognizes as even more effective for aging muscles. These proteins are not exotic or prohibitively expensive. They're everyday foods, often overlooked, that carry compounds eggs simply lack. When researchers tested his progress, the results verged on the unbelievable. His muscle protein synthesis rate had climbed to levels normally seen in men 25 years younger. This story is not just about one man. It's a sign of something larger, a revolution in how we understand aging and strength. For decades, society accepted muscle decline after 70 as inevitable. But new science suggests it isn't destiny. The right proteins can actively rebuild resilience, restore independence, and push back against the clock itself. And today, we're going to reveal 6 such proteins. Some are humble staples you've probably passed by in the grocery aisle. Others are hidden gems now backed by breakthrough research. Each not only prevents muscle loss, but fortifies the body against the very mechanisms of aging. The first of these proteins may surprise you. Its name sounds almost sinister, yet its benefits are profound. Stay with us, because by the end of this investigation, you may never look at protein, or at your own future, the same way again. But before we dive in, consider this. Around the globe, populations are aging at unprecedented rates. By 2050, 1 in 6 people worldwide will be over the age of 65. In the United States alone, nearly 20% of the population will fall into this category. Muscle loss, known medically as sarcopenia, threatens not only mobility but independence, making it one of the most urgent health crises facing our aging societies. The cost is staggering. In America, sarcopenia-related disability contributes to billions in healthcare spending every year. Yet this crisis, experts argue, is preventable if we change how we nourish our bodies. And that brings us to the first protein powerhouse. Number 6, lentils. The low-cost, high-impact food that most people ignore. When seniors think of protein, the mental image is often steak sizzling on a grill, a roasted chicken, or the classic scrambled eggs. Plant-based proteins rarely make the list, often dismissed as too weak to build or maintain muscle. But lentils prove this belief wrong in dramatic fashion. For just 50 cents a cooked cup, lentils deliver 18 grams of protein. That alone makes them impressive, but it's what comes packaged with the protein that truly sets them apart. Each serving contains 16 grams of fiber, split between soluble and insoluble forms. This fiber doesn't just aid digestion. It feeds the gut microbiome, those trillions of bacteria that act like a hidden control center for health. When nourished, these microbes produce compounds such as butyrate, which calm inflammation inside muscle tissue, sharpen insulin response, and improve how effectively your body uses protein. Scientists call this the gut-muscle axis. And data is clear. A thriving microbiome can increase muscle protein synthesis by as much as 30%. This may explain why in the world's blue zones, regions where people commonly live active lives well into their 90s and beyond, legumes like lentils are dietary staples. Longevity researchers who studied Okinawa in Japan, Nicoya in Costa Rica, and Icaria in Greece found that beans and lentils were eaten nearly daily, correlating strongly with muscle preservation and functional strength in old age. But fiber is only one part of the story. Lentils also bring resistant starch, which behaves much like fiber. It stabilizes blood sugar, prolongs satiety, and boosts the thermic effect of food, meaning your body burns extra calories during digestion. This translates into reduced fat gain and better support for lean muscle. Then there's folate, A single serving of lentils provides about 90% of your daily requirement. Nearly 1 in 3 older adults are deficient in folate, a shortage that slows the very DNA-level processes needed to create new muscle proteins. Correcting folate deficiency can increase muscle strength in just 2 weeks, with measurable gains in muscle mass after 3 months. Iron, too, is a hidden gem in lentils. Each cup provides over a third of daily needs. Paired with vitamin C from simple additions like tomatoes, bell peppers, or a squeeze of lemon, iron absorption can triple. That iron fuels myoglobin, the molecule inside muscle cells that carries oxygen, enabling sustained activity without premature exhaustion. And potassium? Lentils beat bananas here. Adequate potassium not only prevents cramps, but also protects against calcium loss, which can otherwise weaken both bones and muscles. Meanwhile, polyphenols, particularly abundant in black beluga lentils, fight inflammation linked to muscle breakdown. Crucially, lentils also provide lysine, an amino acid often missing in plant-heavy diets. Lysine supports collagen formation and repairs damaged muscle tissue. When paired with grains, lentils form a complete protein, providing all the essential amino acids the body cannot produce on its own. And the practicality is undeniable. Red lentils cook in 10 minutes, turning silky and smooth, ideal for seniors with chewing difficulties. Green lentils hold their shape for hearty salads, while black lentils deliver the highest antioxidant punch. Sprouting them can raise protein content by nearly 20% while improving digestibility. In short, lentils aren't the weaker cousin of eggs. They're affordable, fast to prepare, and loaded with muscle-protective compounds that animal proteins simply don't provide. From folate and fiber to iron and polyphenols, they represent one of the most overlooked weapons in the fight against muscle loss. And this is just the beginning, because the next protein source doesn't just help build muscle. It actively calms inflammation, restores circulation, and triggers hormone release, all while being as convenient as a sprinkle over your morning oatmeal. The story of lentils was a revelation, a reminder that the most unassuming foods can carry extraordinary power. But if lentils prove that plant proteins can rival animal sources, the next contender takes it one step further. This is not just about protein content. It's about biological familiarity, circulation, and the fight against inflammation, the silent enemy of aging. Number 5. Hemp seeds, the protein that feels like home to your muscles. Most people in their 70s and beyond assume that only meat or eggs can truly preserve muscle strength. Hemp seeds dismantle that assumption. Just 3 tablespoons, costing less than your morning cup of coffee, provide 10 grams of complete protein. What makes this source exceptional is not only its completeness, but its uncanny resemblance to human plasma proteins. The key lies in edestin, a protein almost identical to what flows naturally in our blood. Because of this similarity, hemp seed protein requires almost no processing in the body. It is absorbed effortlessly, as though the muscles are recognizing a familiar voice they have known since youth. Yet the benefits go far beyond protein content. Hemp seeds carry an extraordinary fat profile, with a nearly perfect omega-6 to omega-3 ratio of about 3:1. Compare that with eggs, where the ratio can tilt closer to 20:1, fueling inflammation rather than calming it. At a time when aging muscles are already under siege from chronic low-grade inflammation, what gerontologists call inflammaging, this balance becomes critical. Omega-3 fatty acids nourish and protect muscle tissue, helping fibers remain pliable and responsive. Even more rare is their content of gamma-linolenic acid, GLA. Once inside the body, GLA transforms into compounds that directly soothe inflammation within muscle cells. Research has shown that GLA supplementation can reduce post-exercise soreness in older adults by up to 40%, helping recovery times shrink dramatically. For seniors who often give up on exercise due to prolonged pain, this anti-inflammatory edge can mean the difference between remaining active or falling into frailty. And then there is arginine, an amino acid in high supply within hemp seeds. Arginine widens blood vessels, improving circulation and allowing oxygen and nutrients to flood into muscle fibers more effectively. Past the age of 70, circulation naturally slows. Without proper blood flow, nutrients can't reach tissues efficiently and muscles struggle to repair. Arginine reverses some of this decline, even stimulating the release of growth hormone. This hormone falls by nearly 50% between the ages of 40 and 70. But research indicates that arginine can boost its release by as much as 30% when consumed before sleep or after activity. That means stronger repair signals at the very moment muscles need them most. And let us not forget magnesium, a mineral where deficiency is rampant. More than 80% of older adults fall short on magnesium, and the consequences are familiar. Cramps, weakness, restless sleep, and poor recovery. 3 tablespoons of hemp seeds cover nearly half the daily requirement. Magnesium doesn't just ease cramping. It activates vitamin D, the nutrient directly linked to muscle strength. In fact, pairing salmon, another protein we will discuss soon, with hemp seeds creates a synergy that few realize. Protein, omega-3s, and magnesium combining to accelerate recovery at the cellular level. These seeds also contain iron, zinc, and phosphorus, the trio responsible for fueling oxygen transport, protein building, and ATP energy production inside muscle tissue. And their natural green hue comes from chlorophyll, a compound that enhances oxygen delivery while sweeping out waste products that accumulate inside tired fibers. Best of all, hemp seeds demand no refrigeration, no cooking, and no preparation. Sprinkle them onto yogurt, stir them into oatmeal, toss them over a salad, or simply eat them raw. Their mild, nutty flavor is reminiscent of fresh sunflower seeds, making daily use effortless. Start with 1 tablespoon, then increase as digestion adjusts. Small actions, repeated daily, lay the groundwork for large transformations. But the power of hemp seeds goes beyond individual biology. They tell a geopolitical story too. Once maligned because of their association with cannabis, hemp is now recognized as an agricultural resource with enormous potential. In Canada, for example, hemp seed exports have skyrocketed as global demand for plant-based protein surges. In the US, the legalization of hemp farming has opened a billion-dollar industry, not just for textiles and oils, but also for nutrition. Seniors adopting hemp seeds for muscle strength are inadvertently participating in a wider economic shift towards sustainable proteins, a future less dependent on livestock and more in balance with environmental demands. Still, hemp seeds, for all their power, are not the only food capable of fighting inflammation and restoring strength. There is another, one that swims in cold waters and brings with it a nutrient profile unmatched by almost any land-based protein. It has been cherished by coastal cultures for centuries, not only for its taste, but for its ability to preserve vitality in harsh conditions. Today, science confirms what tradition long suggested. This protein source doesn't just build muscle, it repairs it from the inside out. Number 4. Wild salmon. A single portion of wild salmon provides around 22 grams of premium protein, but protein is only the beginning. The real magic lies in its omega-3 fatty acids, EPA and DHA. Think of them as lubricants inside aging muscle fibers. Over the years, inflammation acts like rust, slowly eroding muscle tissue. Eggs may provide building blocks, but they cannot stop this erosion. Omega-3s, however, can. A study from the University of Washington revealed a remarkable outcome. Older adults who consumed omega-3 levels equivalent to eating salmon 3 times a week gained 6% more muscle mass, without increasing exercise or altering other protein sources. Even more intriguing, their muscles became more sensitive to all protein intake. In other words, salmon didn't just add nutrients, it amplified the effectiveness of every other protein consumed. This effect occurs because omega-3s physically embed themselves into muscle cell membranes. They keep those membranes flexible, receptive to growth signals, and capable of launching protein synthesis. They also activate mTOR, the master regulator of muscle building, while suppressing inflammatory molecules like TNF-alpha and IL-6, which accelerate muscle breakdown. But salmon's benefits do not end there. One serving contains about 1,000 IU of vitamin D. Beyond its famous role in bone health, vitamin D directly triggers protein-building processes inside muscle cells. Correcting vitamin D deficiency in seniors can lift strength by up to 20%, according to clinical research. For many, a weekly serving of wild salmon achieves what supplements often fail to deliver: a potent natural correction of deficiency. The pink hue of salmon tells another story. It comes from astaxanthin, a rare antioxidant 6,000 times stronger than vitamin C in neutralizing free radicals. This pigment, found in abundance in wild salmon, protects mitochondria, the tiny power plants of our cells. By doing so, it enhances endurance, reduces fatigue, and extends the energy life of muscle fibers. Some supplementation studies show astaxanthin can raise muscular endurance in seniors by nearly 40%. Salmon also brings selenium, about 40% of daily needs per serving. Selenium fuels the production of glutathione peroxidase, an enzyme that shields muscle from oxidative stress. Add to that about 1 gram of creatine per serving, and salmon becomes a natural strength enhancer, improving contraction force and performance by up to 15% when paired with regular activity. Yet not all salmon is equal. Wild-caught Alaskan salmon carries higher omega-3 levels, more vitamin D, and authentic astaxanthin compared to farm-raised salmon, which often relies on synthetic coloring. Preparation matters too. Gentle steaming or baking preserves delicate fats, while a squeeze of lemon not only brightens flavor but also prevents oxidation and boosts iron absorption. Even canned wild salmon should not be overlooked. Affordable, shelf-stable, and nutrient-dense, it includes edible soft bones that contribute calcium, crucial for both bones and muscle contractions. In fact, pairing canned salmon with Greek yogurt creates a protein and probiotic-rich meal that supports both muscle and gut health. These kinds of pairings matter more than most realize. Muscle preservation is not about isolated nutrients, but about synergy. Proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals, and even beneficial bacteria all working together in the body's complex system of repair. With salmon, we see a food that does not merely add muscle. It enhances the body's ability to use every nutrient available. For aging adults, that is revolutionary. But what if you could consume a protein that bypasses digestion speed altogether, flooding the bloodstream with amino acids at precisely the right moment? What if this protein could achieve in 1 hour what eggs take 3 or 4 hours to attempt? The answer lies in the next discovery. A protein powder that scientists found could help people in their 90s build muscle faster than a 60-year-old eating eggs. The story of salmon demonstrated how natural foods can repair muscle at the cellular level, but our next protein takes a very different approach. Unlike whole foods, it is refined, concentrated, and engineered by nature itself to deliver a surge of amino acids. For seniors battling the ticking clock of sarcopenia, it offers something invaluable: speed. Number 3. Whey protein, the fast track to muscle growth. For decades, bodybuilders swore by whey protein to build bulk and strength. But new research has revealed something more striking. Whey may be even more valuable for seniors than for athletes. Scientists at McMaster University compared whey protein to eggs in adults over the age of 75. The results were so unexpected that the researchers repeated the experiment 3 times. Each time, the outcome was the same. Those consuming whey built nearly double the muscle mass of those relying on eggs. The explanation lies in biology. When we are young, the muscles remain primed to absorb and use amino acids for several hours after a meal. But after age 70, this window narrows sharply. To stimulate growth, muscles require a rapid flood of amino acids, not a slow trickle. Whey provides exactly that. Within 1 hour of consumption, whey releases a concentrated burst of amino acids into the bloodstream, triggering protein synthesis before the opportunity closes. Eggs, by contrast, take 3 to 4 hours to fully digest. By then, the muscles of a 75-year-old have already missed their chance. Central to whey's power is leucine, the amino acid that flips the switch for muscle building. Eggs contain about 1.3 grams of leucine per serving, but whey can deliver up to 2.5 grams. Seniors require close to 3 grams of leucine in a single dose to wake up their muscles. meaning it could take 5 eggs to match the effectiveness of just 1.5 scoops of whey powder. And whey doesn't stop at leucine. It contains the other branched chain amino acids, isoleucine and valine, which feed energy directly to muscles and guard them against breakdown during activity. What's more, whey carries compounds rarely mentioned in mainstream nutrition: immunoglobulins. These natural antibodies calm hidden gut inflammation, a silent disruptor of nutrient absorption in older adults. Another component, glycomacropeptide, enhances satiety hormones while improving insulin sensitivity, ensuring that protein is channeled into muscle rather than stored as fat. One patient, a 92-year-old woman, began adding whey to her breakfast each morning. She blended it with frozen berries and a sprinkle of cinnamon. The berries protected the protein during digestion, while cinnamon improved insulin action by nearly 20%. Within weeks, she reported not just improved strength, but sharper energy throughout her day. For those with lactose sensitivity, whey isolate is the best option, as nearly all lactose is removed. Others may prefer whey concentrate, which retains additional immune-supporting compounds. The method of preparation also matters. Mixing whey with cold liquid preserves its protein structure, while consuming it within 30 minutes of preparation maximizes its impact. Whey is more than a supplement. It is a switch, one that reignites muscle growth even when the body seems determined to decline. Yet muscles are not built only in the day's active hours. At night, while we sleep, a hidden challenge emerges. The body, deprived of calories for hours, begins breaking down muscle tissue for energy. For older adults, this process accelerates, making each night a time of silent erosion. How can we counter this? The answer lies in a protein that works not with speed, but with patience. Slowly releasing nutrients for up to 8 hours, feeding muscles while the body rests. Number 2. Cottage cheese, the slow shield against nighttime muscle loss. Cottage cheese is rich in casein, a protein that digests gradually. Once consumed, it forms a gel in the stomach, releasing amino acids steadily over 6 to 8 hours. Dutch researchers tested this by giving seniors cottage cheese before bed. The results were remarkable. Muscle protein synthesis continued throughout the night, effectively flipping an anti-muscle loss switch while they slept. But the benefits go further. Casein contains compounds that slightly reduce blood pressure and encourage deeper sleep. And deeper sleep triggers greater release of growth hormone, the body's own repair signal. Thus, cottage cheese doesn't just provide nutrients, it enhances the quality of rest, amplifying the body's natural repair cycles. Nutritionally, a single cup of cottage cheese covers 90% of daily selenium needs. Selenium deficiency, common in those over 70, is linked to fatigue, weakness, and impaired muscle repair. That same serving also provides 14% of daily calcium, crucial for bones and muscle contractions, as well as nearly 40% of vitamin B12, essential for protein utilization, and 30% of phosphorus, which fuels ATP, the universal energy molecule driving every contraction. Soft and easy to digest, cottage cheese is practical for seniors facing chewing difficulties or reduced stomach acid. Its natural sodium aids hydration and circulation, though rinsing it briefly under water can cut sodium by 40% without reducing protein. Many have even turned it into a bedtime ritual, mixing in flax seeds for omega-3s, walnuts for arginine, or honey for natural sweetness. Frozen lightly, it can become a protein-rich ice cream substitute. Those who adopt this practice often report waking with less stiffness, greater energy, and noticeably stronger performance during daily activities. The significance of casein goes beyond nutrition. It reveals a principle too often overlooked. Aging is not only about what we eat, but when. Daytime requires fast-acting proteins like whey to match narrow windows of synthesis. Nighttime requires slow-release proteins like casein to prevent erosion. Together, they form a dual strategy: rapid growth by day, steady protection by night. And now we arrive at the most controversial protein on this list. Its very name is unsettling, almost devilish. Yet in the battle for strength after 70, It may be one of the most misunderstood allies. It challenges not only our understanding of food, but also the politics of diet, culture, and sustainability. Its reputation swings between miracle and menace, but the science is clear. It delivers protein in quantities that rival the richest cuts of steak, with none of the baggage. Number 1. Seitan, the plant protein once nicknamed wheat meat. The journey has brought us through surprising foods, from lentils that nourish the gut muscle axis, to hemp seeds that fight inflammation, to salmon that rewires the very membranes of muscle cells, and to whey and cottage cheese that together guard the body in day and night cycles. But now we reach the final chapter, and it is perhaps the most dramatic of all. Number 1. Seitan, the plant protein that rivals steak. Forget powders, pills, or gimmicks. Seitan, often nicknamed wheat meat, is a dense, chewy food made from vital wheat gluten, the protein-rich fraction of wheat. In appearance, texture, and even flavor, it carries the heft of meat. But its nutrient profile makes it a quiet revolution for those seeking muscle health in later life. Just 100 grams of seitan contains a staggering 39 grams of protein, numbers on par with some of the richest cuts of beef. Yet it arrives without the baggage of saturated fats, heavy cholesterol, or the inflammation-inducing compounds often found in red meat. For seniors, the value goes deeper. As the digestive system slows with age, breaking down complex foods becomes harder. Seitan is easier. When wheat is processed into seitan, most of the starch and fiber are stripped away, leaving a concentrated form of protein that the body absorbs quickly. That means fewer digestive hurdles, more direct delivery of amino acids, and faster repair of muscle fibers. A 2022 study published in Clinical Nutrition ESPN found that seniors who consumed plant-based proteins like seitan preserved 21% more lean muscle than those relying on a mixed diet. This flies in the face of long-standing beliefs that only animal proteins can sustain muscle. In fact, the evidence suggests that plant proteins, when chosen strategically, can sometimes outperform their animal counterparts. Seitan is naturally low in fat and carbohydrates, making it an ideal choice for those managing diabetes, high cholesterol, or weight concerns. It provides the benefits of protein without blood sugar spikes or unnecessary caloric loads. For those struggling with appetite, its dense texture and satisfying bite make it more filling than tofu or tempeh, often surprising first-time eaters with its resemblance to meat. Versatility is another advantage. Seitan can be sliced and tossed into stir-fries, grilled with olive oil and garlic, marinated and roasted, or even shaped into smoky strips for a barbecue-style dish. Its adaptability allows seniors to fold it into meals they already enjoy, reducing the sense of dietary restriction. Paired with vitamin C-rich vegetables such as bell peppers, kale, or broccoli, its plant-based iron becomes far more bioavailable. That simple pairing transforms it into an even stronger ally for muscle health and energy. But seitan's story extends beyond nutrition. It represents a cultural shift in how societies view food and aging. Once confined to niche vegetarian diets, seitan is now part of a global movement toward sustainable proteins. As the world grapples with the environmental cost of livestock, plant-based proteins are stepping into the spotlight. In this way, seniors embracing seitan are not only protecting their bodies, they are participating in a collective response to global challenges, ensuring that future generations inherit both a healthier food culture and a healthier planet. When we look back at all 6 of these foods, a clear pattern emerges. Muscle loss is not an inevitable sentence of aging. It is a condition influenced by choices, daily, deliberate choices about what we eat. Lentils provide affordability, fiber, and folate. Hemp seeds deliver inflammation-fighting fats and growth hormone triggers. Wild salmon offers omega-3s, vitamin D, and astaxanthin, repairing muscles at the deepest levels. Whey protein ignites rapid growth during narrow windows of synthesis. Cottage cheese, with its casein, guards muscles through the night. And seitan delivers dense, digestible protein with the muscle-building power of steak, minus the drawbacks. Together, These foods form a nutritional arsenal, one capable of restoring independence, rebuilding strength, and redefining what it means to grow old. Imagine the implications. An 88-year-old man who once needed help to stand now walks briskly around a park every morning. Multiply his story by millions, and you see the outlines of a public health revolution. Fewer hospitalizations, lower healthcare costs, greater dignity and quality of life. The global stakes are high. By 2050, nearly 1 in 6 people worldwide will be over 65. The question is not just how long they will live, but how well. Will they spend their final decades in wheelchairs and hospital beds, or will they remain active, resilient, and engaged? The answer, in part, lies in the humble foods available in every market, often overlooked but rich in power. Eggs may remain a symbol of protein, but science has moved forward. The truth is that smarter, more effective proteins are within reach. Foods that protect against inflammation, feed the microbiome, sharpen insulin response, and stimulate growth pathways long thought dormant in old age. The choice, ultimately, is in our hands. The man in the park is not just a symbol of recovery. He is proof. Proof that the decline of aging can be slowed, reversed, even transformed. His story should not be rare. With the right knowledge, it can become common. So here is the challenge. The next time you prepare a meal, consider more than calories and taste. Consider the legacy of your body, the independence you will want at 70, 80, 90, and beyond. Add lentils to your soups. Sprinkle hemp seeds on your oatmeal. Choose wild salmon over processed meat. Blend whey into your morning shake. Make cottage cheese your nightly protector. And give seitan a chance to prove that plants can rival steak. Because every bite is a decision. A decision about strength. A decision about freedom. A decision about how you will walk through the final decades of life. Bent and dependent, or upright and unstoppable. If this investigation gave you something new to consider, take a moment now. Press like. Share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe so you never miss the next revelation that could change your health and future. The smallest action on your part helps carry this message to countless others who need it. The power to rebuild is not hidden in laboratories or locked away in hospitals. It is in the foods we choose every day. And as science now proves, those choices can make the difference between decline and resilience, between fragility and strength, between surviving and truly living. This is not just nutrition. This is a quiet revolution. One plate, one bite, one decision at a time. Throughout history, the aging body has been viewed as a symbol of decline. Joints stiffening, muscles wasting, energy fading. For generations, this narrative was accepted as inevitable. But what if it isn't? What if strength, independence, and vitality after 70 are not only possible but within reach, hidden in plain sight in the foods we choose every day? We began with a story. An 88-year-old man, once frail and dependent, now walking the park with brisk steps each morning. His recovery was not powered by medicine, surgery, or miracle drugs. It was powered by protein, but not the kind we usually imagine. Eggs, long considered the gold standard, were set aside in favor of smarter, more targeted sources. The result? His muscle protein synthesis rate rivaled that of a man decades younger. From there, the investigation unfolded. Lentils, overlooked and underestimated, revealed themselves as nutritional giants, rich in fiber, folate, and polyphenols that fuel both the gut and the muscles it supports. Hemp seeds brought not just protein but balance, calming inflammation, widening blood vessels, restoring circulation, and even triggering growth hormone. Wild salmon showed how omega-3s and astaxanthin could slip inside cells, repairing them at the molecular level while amplifying the effects of every other protein consumed. Then came whey, the fast-acting igniter, delivering amino acids in minutes when older muscles need them most. Cottage cheese followed as its counterbalance, feeding those same muscles slowly through the night, preventing silent erosion during sleep. And finally, seitan, the controversial plant protein that shattered stereotypes, packing more protein per gram than steak, yet without the metabolic cost. Together, these foods form more than a shopping list. They form a strategy, a nutritional framework that can turn the tide against sarcopenia. They are a declaration that aging does not mean surrender. But this story is bigger than biology. It is about society itself. By 2050, the world will have more than 2 billion people over the age of 60. Healthcare systems already strain under the weight of chronic disease, disability, and long-term care. Imagine if even a fraction of those people remained stronger, more independent, and less reliant on hospitals simply because they made different choices at the table. The impact would be seismic. Lower healthcare costs, reduced caregiver burdens, and a generation of elders who continue to contribute to their families, their communities, and their nations. Economists warn of a silver tsunami, an aging population that could overwhelm economies. Yet what if that wave became a source of resilience instead? What if seniors, armed with knowledge and access to the right foods, extended not just their lifespan but their health span? The evidence suggests it is possible. The man in the park is living proof. This is why the story matters. Because each of us will face this question, either for ourselves or for those we love. Will age steal our strength? Or will we fight back with the tools science now lays before us? The decision does not require expensive treatments or rare supplements. It requires awareness, intention, and the courage to change habits. So here is the takeaway. Lentils, hemp seeds, salmon, whey, cottage cheese, seitan. These are not exotic luxuries. They are accessible, affordable, and available to nearly anyone willing to look past tradition and toward evidence. Incorporating them into meals is not simply about nutrition. It is about dignity. About ensuring that when the time comes, you can rise from a chair on your own, take a walk without fear, and hold on to the independence that defines a life well lived. The challenge is simple, yet profound. Tomorrow, make one change. Replace an old habit with one of these foods. Add lentils to your soup. Sprinkle hemp seeds on your breakfast. Choose wild salmon over processed meat. Try whey in your shake, cottage cheese before bed, or seitan in your stir-fry. One step at a time, the body will respond. And over weeks, months, and years, those steps may lead you to a future you thought was out of reach. Aging is inevitable. Decline is not. And so, as we close this investigation, remember the man in the park. Remember his story, not as an exception, but as an example. Let it remind you, and everyone you love, that strength can be rebuilt, even when time seems against you. This is not just about food. This is about freedom. If this message resonated with you, take a moment now. Press like, share your own story in the comments, and subscribe so that together we can spread knowledge that empowers millions. Because the smallest actions, one like, one share, one meal choice, ripple outward to create lasting change. The revolution of aging well does not start in hospitals. It starts in kitchens, on plates, in everyday choices. The science is clear. The power is yours. This is how we fight back against time.